Bjorn is here already. So we are going to be making a landing pad, a sci-fi landing pad to go on top of our storage unit, or storage cube. It's been a Tuesday. To go on top of our shipping container homes. I want this one to not be as complicated as the other one that I did with all the antennas and the wires and stuff. I literally want this to be like, oh, he saved up, or she, whoever lives there, they saved up, they bought this thing and had it dropped right on top of the shipping container. It's just the landing pad, and then all the wires and stuff that go to it are like, again, scabbed on bits of pieces of technology that are placed. So that's what we're going to be doing with this. It is just a plant holder from Target. There were two of them in the set. One of them, they both had 4 little leggies on there, and I popped those off because I didn't want 4. I just wanted the one, because it's kind of, if you shoot it right with pictures and stuff, it creates the illusion that it's floating. But also, if I take a picture this way, it's going to look like a structural support. It's not going to matter. And it's fake wood. It's particle board wood pressed with a coating. Ma'am. Snowflake has decided to grace us with her presence. And since her pain-in-the-ass brother knocked some stuff down where he was not supposed to be, Snowflake has decided that it is her job to play with said items that she should not be playing with. Yeah, you. I'm talking about you, cutie pie. Don't you run that way. Where are you going? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get that cat. I love you. You wanna say hi to everybody? Oh. Say hello. It's Snowflake time. I'm taking over the show. Ha 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 ha. Go play. Yeah. So right now I'm just gonna start putting a base of, what's up, Red. Putting a base of just plain black crappy acrylic paint on here as the primer. It's also, once again, exceptionally humid. Rained all day, got about an inch of rain, and then it got sunny for about 2 hours while I was working. So, of course, best I could do was open the curtains. And then, no joke, end of my work day came along, 5 o'clock. Shut my work laptop. Went and got myself a cold seltzer, and sat down, went to decide if I was putting on boots or not to go outside. Started pouring again with some thunder. So it's just, I live in the Pacific Northwest now, I guess. I don't know. So it's very humid. So I've got a fan drawing the air out of here to try and decrease the humidity in here to help me dry these things. But I'll probably wind up cheating and using the hair dryer again, because it works. I hate doing it because it warms up the room and it's noisy, but between this weather we're having and just the situation of the room that I'm in, the studio where it's at, it's just the thing. Red, that cityscape that you sent me there, the Kickstarter, I didn't get a chance to thumb through it. I just got the chance to look at the thumbnail that was on the story. What is that? Is that Lego or like a comparable brick thing? Connects, perhaps? Something from Minecraft? Someone say Lego. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. It looks like maybe Playmobil also. That's the other thing, is I kind of got, from the lower buildings, it kind of had like a Playmobil vibe, but again, I couldn't really tell, and I didn't spend too much time looking at it. I had to go move some furniture to try and help somebody get some information for my family, and that of course means I have to move furniture and pull out files from 10, 15 years ago that have been locked away in a closet somewhere because all of a sudden now it's critical. But I went and did that, and just it got to be too overwhelming in that room, too hot, so it can wait until tomorrow, especially since I have to move furniture and I don't feel like doing it right now. It was a Kickstarter. Yeah, what did I say, GoFundMe or something? But again, it looked like maybe it was styled in Playmobil or something to match that. Look at her. She thinks she's the little landlord over there. You think you're in charge of that over there? Okay, that's where you live now? You live in the underbelly of Gimmick? Alright. Snowflake lives in the underbelly of Gimmick. But it does kind of look like a mushroom. I tried to center the post up as well as I could. It's not going to matter. The bottom will be the least visually seen thing. You guys know I love my bottoms. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Coolo! But yeah, it just gave me the vibe of I set an alarm to remind myself to go live. That's why I'm early. It gave me the vibe of Playmobil, but could be wrong, could be Lego, could be this guy's proprietary design, his own IP or her own IP. What's going on, buddy? You cleaning your ears? I love you. You're so pretty. She's cleaning her ears. This will be painted up to look like some sort of concrete, but it's gonna have a painted surface that's almost like can't decide if I want to do like a metal surface, a metallic surface. That doesn't sound satisfactory to me. I think it'll be like blue or closer to white. Like I don't want to do a gray. I do a lot of gray landing pads and stuff, and like, well, that looks uniform and would be neat. Like, oh, all the landing pads are good. No. No, I want it to be something a little different. Like, you know, he got out there, or she got out there with a paint roller and was like, let's put a coating on this thing, put all the landing marks and stuff on top of that. But I do want to get this coat of black acrylic paint. It's plaid apple barrel. On here is just a primer to give the other paint something to stick to, and if anything scratches off, even though I'm going to seal it, it'll show the dark through before it gets down to the wood / veneer that's on the top and bottom of this sandwich of particle board. And if you're just popping in, slap the like button, pull its hair, call it names, whatever you want to do, but treat it right. Take it out to a nice dinner. Aftercare is important. It's for miniatures, but I have a lock-in miniatures. I'm making miniatures right now. What is a miniature? Did they say a scale, or does it just say miniatures? Because that sounds like piss poor marketing, honestly. Or do you mean 28 millimeter like tabletop gaming? D&D tips, because technically, yeah, I was told by a lot of the Facebook groups that I'm in that 1/18 scale is considered miniature scale. Anything below 1/1 is considered miniature. I mean, I'd argue that like half scale stuff is not miniature, but I guess it's miniature if you compare it to full size. But I digress. Yeah, 1/18 is welcome in those oddball Facebook hobby groups, which is cool. And I learn a lot from tabletop miniatures. One channel I like is the cats over at JD and the Sumpsea. It's which game are they playing? I want to say it's 40. It's one of the iterations of 40K, but not entirely sure. But they're building, like, they built an entire city against the wall in their studio space, and now they're moving, so they've had to take it down. But they built an entire city against the wall in their studio space, and it has its own, like, river and sump area where all the water is at, like, the bottom of whatever their world is. I'm trying this thing out today, this silicone mat, to be like, you know, get the paint on that instead of on my work mat. And it's got these little cups for the paint, so we'll see. I'll let it dry overnight and then pop the paint out of there, give it a rinse with some warm soapy water, and we'll see. Nice silicone mat. We do love a silicone mat in this house. I think one thing I will do too is give this some sort of texturing with Mod Podge as number one, protection, but also give it some tooth, give it some interest, visual interest and dimension. Because, like, sure, we could make this thing flat and perfectly smooth, but that doesn't, there's not a lot of flat, perfectly smooth stuff in the real world. There's a lot of deviation, and also around gimmick, there's not a lot of, like, perfectly flat, smooth surfaces, and that's, you know, because I'm not as great as a builder as I think I am. But also, surfaces have texture, and when you're trying to indicate, you know, oh, this is concrete, or this is metal, or this is whatever, you gotta add textures to help show it off, because you can paint so much, and you can do layering, things like that, but you know, it doesn't hurt to have actual beneficial surface texture on there for pooling of washes and to help hide your brush strokes and things like that. Okay. Also, thank you for looking into that. How to prevent wood from warping when applying paint. Suggestions. How thick is the wood? What's up, Ant? Because if it's a really thin wood, you're going to want to seal one side of it with, like, Mod Podge or a sealing spray, and it will likely curl if it's really thin. And then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to coat the other side with it and let it set. That's how I've dealt with really thin wood curling. But also, like, giving it a coating first before you put the paint on it. Yeah, baby, I know what you're talking about. Before you put your paint on it is going to help stop curling. Especially pressed board like this. 1/8 of an inch, yeah, you definitely need to, like, from a distance, if you got a can of, you know, clear coat or whatever, or like a matte spray, from a distance, give it a good coating of that, let it dry, flip it over, repeat, then put your paint on it. You'll get a lot less curling and bowing. And also, if you can, is get yourself, even if it's not 1, 2, 3 blocks, but if you've got, like, a plastic cup you don't like and a handful of pennies around the house, throw the pennies into the plastic cup, put them on a corner to hold the wood down. Put your paint on there. It won't cup as much, and then when you're done and it dries, remove those corners and paint those, right? Let those dry, then flip it. It's extra steps, but it's going to save you the time and frustration of having the wood warp. But there's a lot of different ways to do that. So those would be the ways that I would recommend. Yeah. Primer is definitely, primer or a clear coat, specifically a matte clear coat, is really helpful. I don't know what it is about a gloss, but a gloss seems to, like, pull because it tries to make a smooth surface. I imagine that's why it's pulling. I don't know the exact science behind it, but viscosity and what it does, like what the actual result is that smooth surface means that it does have to pull and kind of give itself a curve to make it smooth. So I would go with, like, a matte coating or a spray primer and just get it on there from a distance. Don't saturate it. Hey, Jess. Yeah, Prylon multi-surface, but, like, you know, I've seen people, here's the thing. I'm gonna catch some heat. I'm gonna catch some heat for this, okay? But a lot of cosplayers out there think that they are Christ's gift to spray painting props. And then I watch them with a can of rattle can spray paint, probably didn't even shake it, and they're holding their prop like this, or they've got it on the stick, and they're going, why is there runs? Why is there orange peel? If you fucking read the can, just that's all you gotta do is use your eyeballs. If you can read sewing instructions, if you could read your 3D printer, read the can. 6 to 8 inches away from the prop, or whatever you're painting. Check your humidity, check your temperature. Watch somebody spray paint that's a professional. They don't go, they do even strokes with the spray paint. Different direction with the spray paint. Let the first coat cure for the amount of time that's recommended. Use a hair dryer if you have to. But like, read the can. Don't, that's how you get runs in orange peel. Orange peel is quite literally what it sounds like when the paint pools up. It looks all dimply and looks like orange peel on the surface. That's what that is. Runs in paint, again, quite literally what it sounds like when you're spray painting, or you see it in graffiti art, because sometimes people go for that effect where they go in close. It's a buildup of the paint and it pools down into drips. You don't want that on your stuff. You don't want that on your wood that you're working on. You don't want that on your projects. Like when I sprayed those for primer, and I guess I do have a little bit of video that's going to be in a long form about my week and last week going to Stormville, but like when I sprayed that with primer, it took me 3 passes of paint because I went above, got the walls, got the ends, you know, everything, let it cure in the sunshine, then I propped it up so I could get the overhangs, gave it another pass, just making sure I was getting the overhangs, and then when I came back after it cured for, you know, a little while in the sunshine, I flipped it over, and again, I sprayed the right way, but I went back and got all the other areas and overhangs and got full coverage. When it was completely dry and I brought it inside to like harden up and like sit for a while, I didn't worry because there were no like bare spots where I could see. There was like 2 spots where there was a little bit of overhang that I just didn't want to blast the paint up inside of it and like have runs. And I knew it could be hidden with other paint, which I did, so. But read the instructions on your spray paint can. Another tip, here's a tip for spray painting. As hot as your sink will allow, fill up a bowl about halfway, take your spray paint can, put it in the bowl. Now, I've seen people commenting online, people commenting on videos, your can's gonna explode, blah, 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 blah. The way your spray paint can would explode is if you put your spray paint can in a pot on the stove and continue to heat it up. You take your hot water from your sink, which the max temperature for most sinks' hot water heater is going to be about 120 to 130 degrees. That's starting to get into like scald your hands territory. As soon as that's in the bowl, it's losing heat. It's going, that heat's going, that temperature's going to drop. So what you're doing is you're putting your cold ass spray paint that's probably been sitting on a garage shelf or sitting in a cabinet or sitting in your basement or even riding around in a car. You're going to place it in that water, and that's going to heat up, but it's not going to get so hot because, again, thermodynamics, it's going to lose heat. It's only going to reach a certain temperature before it starts to disperse the heat, and it's going to match the temperature of the water. Shake your can up. Good 30 seconds. You can do back and forth. You can do the shake weight. You can do the I'm on vacation. No one's going to know what happens in Vegas. Whatever you want to do, right? Then put it back in the water. Let it sit for a little while longer. Take it out, shake it, make sure you get the water droplets off the can too. You don't want to be spray painting and then drip water on it. Take it outside, give it a blast. You're going to have a much finer paint, and it's going to go on there in a nice, even spray. It's a little tip from your Uncle Famine, all right? But yeah, read the goddamn can. It tells you how far and how close. And also they do make other spray paint tips. They're more for graffiti art styles and spray art, but you can also use them for putting designs on things. Look into that, but yeah. Number 1, read the can. Make sure you shake the shit out of it for as long as it says in the can. Soak it in some hot tap water. You'll have a way better time applying spray paint to things. I'm done preaching about spray paint. Yes, they do also work, yep. That's also a good trick for graffitiing. Or if you want drips, nope, you don't have to Mod Podge first. Mod Podge is just a sealer, but if you're gonna put down primer or a clear coat, do that. So this is drying. As you can see, there are some streaks on there, so I'm just gonna help them out. Help them dry a little faster. But I'm very passionate about watching people spray paint poorly. I guess that's I've grown, you know, because again, I was doing, as much as I was doing like custom toys when I was younger, and a lot of that was hand painting and stuff, I was watching cosplayers, I was watching prop makers, film producers, people in art departments and stuff, watching them. I was a production spray painter with a paint gun in a real company doing aircraft parts for 5-6 years. No, I was in the paint department for 7 years. So you want to follow the instructions and you'll get a much better flow of paint. You'll get a much better application of whatever you're putting it on. So just remember that. It doesn't have to be blobbed on there. It's not a race. You don't win an award if you use the entire can on one thing that's like this fucking big. And also your environment, wherever you live, and what the weather is like, is going to affect what you're spray painting unequivocally. If you're in a hotter, drier climate, you could spray in the shade where it's a little cooler. Do that. If you're in a really fucking humid environment like the Pacific Northwest or upstate New York, wait until it's a sunny day where the sun's been out for a little while to dry up some of that humidity, so you don't have the steam coming off the roads and all that stuff. In the wintertime when it's freezing cold, I've made this mistake a couple of times when I was rushed on a push for commissions, and I should have waited. Don't spray it in the cold because it will freeze on the way to whatever you're doing, and it'll leave tiny little pebbles of dust all over it. So your finish is not going to be smooth, not going to be a nice texture. It's going to be duty. This is just, again, I did it professionally for years. I mean, I just know that you're going to have a bad time. I've had a bad time. I'm giving like straight up warning here that people don't make the same mistakes I did. And number one, waste your product because, hey, the economy's not fucking great right now. Okay, I can't afford to throw away half a can of spray paint on a project that I'm going to have to sand down anyway and respray, right? Spray paint's not super expensive, but a $10, $12 can of spray paint, I would prefer to get my whole $10, $12 worth and keep it on there and not have to, I wound up using half of it. That's a waste. I did say duty. Well, white women shouldn't be petting that wild animal. You cannot pet that dog. But yeah, the stove one is that is absolutely true. Because thermodynamics, you're heating up the water, you're heating up the paint has to go somewhere, it's in a pressurized can already. But if you put it in hot water, that hot water is losing heat, you want it to lose some of it into the can itself is going to be at a cooler temperature. It's also got elements in there that are propellants which keep it cooler, so you're helping raise the temperature, helping to make it a nicer spray. So while that dries, I had a thing I wanted to do. It didn't occur to me that I should have printed out some reference pictures first before I did it. So I might not be doing that thing, but that is almost dry. Let that brush set that there. I pulled out one of my other shipping containers. Couch cow one of these days. Lisa, no cats and only 3 dogs. Did not say cows. No, that's reasonable. It didn't say cows. Pulled out one of my Jurassic containers because I wanted to show you guys what I got the door from. This is one of those doors. That's what I used on the shipping container door. It's meant to sit in there, and so the Raptor, the Atrociraptor that comes with it can come running out. But these look like... The floof's gonna squish you. You cannot pet that dog. That ain't a dog. That's a grizzly bear. They don't like hugs. They like to kill and eat salmon. But anyway, these make great sci-fi space containers and also barrier walls. I think it was Rycroft Enlow Dioramas, aka Chewy. I do know that. AKA Chewy on Yak Face. He was using these to make rebel barricades around a town, which is a great idea for these. I'm using them as shipping containers, and I slapped up a propaganda poster on there that I found on the Google machine, and just again printed it out on an inkjet, slapped it on there with some Mod Podge, and this was just, I did a reel on this one actually. I made this one for a reel, and I put strips of half inch, is that 1 inch tape? We're gonna say it's 1 inch tape because it is 1 inch tape. I did 1 inch tape stripes all the way around it just to add some character to it, and there are really cool steps on there to like climb on top of it. They stack well for whatever reason, and yeah, I was just able to throw this together in less than an hour. I could see that as a subway car. I could totally, when I put a train or transport or something on here, like some type of hover train round gimmick, these will be on the cars. But I could absolutely see them being some sort of transport, but they also make great walls. Then I have these. I got these at, it's a popular Japanese dollar store. The name escapes me right now. It's probably not going to hit me because I haven't been there in a while, but they're little shipping containers. They are made of metal. They stack and lock into each other. I would say these are like I'd say these are like closer to N scale in train. Daiso, thank you, Bjorn. Daiso is the name of the store. But these are like itty bitty, but it's outer space. So they look like that. They've got great detail. They've got English writing on them, but the cool thing is, and these are like meant to like people put them on their desks and keep their paper clips and shit in them. That's cool, you know? If you wanted to, you didn't want to use this, but you like paid $1 for it, and you're like, oh, what do I do? There's a greebly right there. That's a textured greebly. Or this way, you could cast that if you wanted to. I'll probably wind up casting one of these lids one day, but instant shipping container. If you have a big shipping yard and you're big into like toy photography and stuff, you could set them, you know, far in the back of the diorama. You take your time, sweetheart, and then have one of these here, and you know, you take your shot and it causes forced perspective, so it looks like there's, you know, with the blur, it looks like there's giant shipping containers in the back stacked up, and you get that cool effect. And also in dioramas, one of the great things about Jason Jensen Trains is on top of his HO scale diorama, he does build N scale, but he's using N scale buildings which are smaller, they're a smaller scale, all the way in the background. So it creates that forced perspective of, oh, here's this really cool, you know, way back in the back there's a mansion, or what looks like an old Victorian home, but it's N scale, so it's smaller, but if you look at it across the train layout, it looks like it fits right in and gives that real immersive view. And also, again, it's outer space. You could hook a magnet to it, or put two of them together and have them hanging off of a UFO, you know, flying these cargo cars somewhere. You could paint them yourself, weather them up, you want it, however you want. So these are just a couple of different ways that I found to have shipping containers in your world. The dolls, these, the Jurassic Raptor, Atrociraptor carrying cargo things. There's a lot of options there for that. So I wanted to share those with you while we were on the topic of making something for the shipping container apartments, and also just look at how goddamn precious Landlord Snowflake is running the underworld. Look at her. Just look at her. Just over there sleeping. Not a care in the world. Doesn't even know what a tax is. Do you, Snowflake? You got no idea. You're so precious. She's gonna raise their rent, I can tell. All right, so we've got that. I want to flip this real quick. One more again. I just want to go around this PVC and load it up with some black paint, because that's gonna get painted silver or gray or something with yellow. Probably put yellow caution stripes around it, or I might leave it black just so that it blends in. Who knows? Doesn't matter. It just needs more paint on it now. And I put a bead of hot glue around the inside of the rim to help adhere it, and I put super glue and who did I just see do? Somebody was 3D printing the Kyber crates, but they were like 3D printing them in 1/12 scale. She does say no to bikes in the shared hallway because she wants to explore the shared hallway without the bikes in her way. They were printing the Kyber crates that came with the Rogue One tank from Jeddah City, and they were printing them in 1/12 scale, so it went from, you know, something, honestly, this scale to bang. Like, they were sizable. And I was like, oh shit, those would be neat. I actually have a couple of 1/18 scale casts of those from Raul from Diorama Accessories. So, as I said, I want to put down a blue, some type of blue on here, maybe a blue-gray, just so that it appears as though this is a custom thing. It's okay that it's a custom thing. I want it to appear special, like this person has, you know, again, they saved up all their coins, they got this thing delivered, and now they're gonna, you know, they're pimping it out as they go. Kind of like what I do with world building. Again, when I was conceptualizing Gimmick, and it still is to this day, it's a mental health project for me as much as it is an art project, and I like the notion of this person in this world is building their parking spot for their beloved Speederbike, and they want it to be in a nice spot. We'll do where is my drink? Man. Olive gray. There you are, right? Is that it? Blue gray. We're gonna do blue gray. It looks a lot brighter here, but it's more of a navy, like a naval blue. It's the best way I could describe it. Like, it's something you might see on a cruiser or a battleship. Now, we could sponge it on there, which I think we're going to do. I think that's a solid idea. So let me put that lid on there for a hot second. Let's get a sponge brush. Oh, there is one other, you know, there is another crate that you could certainly fly around your station and have your critters in there. Shout out to Ant for this Jurassic thing, but this is going to be for my Jurassic World. Apparently these all went on clearance at Walmart for like fucking $3, so everybody ran out and bought them all, and I guarantee I'm going to see them at the flea markets all summer for like $10 a pop. Oh man, but yeah. And I like that they've got the hang straps for the helicopter, so but it's a cool thing. You could cover that up with like a greebly, so it's space. Yes, that was inside of it, and there's a 3-part T-Rex that I just wanted to paint up nice, so I haven't put it together yet, but it's like 3 different segments that fit in here. There's his torso, and I've got his head and his tail, and there was also this inside. I'm actually going to cut that out and use it as a stencil for some projects, because I'm like, fucking T-Rex stencil, hell yeah. But it goes inside and there's a light. I popped that out and I was like, damn, that's a cool freaking container. And if you really wanted to customize it, if you wanted to go so far, you could nip that out where it's like bent so the T-Rex can stick its head through, and just put a straw across there and put 2 toothpicks there. Well, Bjorn, I can't watch the video right now because I'm making it goddamn live, okay? And like I said, you could cover up the Jurassic logo, and it opens. So you put your stuff in there, take it out, put it back in. It's got the diamond plating on the inside, and then it's got metal with like what looks like mud spattered on it and scratches. A lot of weather. You could weather that right up and it would take a lot of that detail and look really cool. There's some scratches on the bars. And it's supposed to make noise and all this other stuff and like rumble and whatnot. I guess the ground is supposed to shake, but I took the batteries. I think I took the batteries out, yeah, I took the batteries out. Right? Am I dumb? No, I didn't take the batteries out. I just scared the shit-ditsky out of myself. We're gonna put that down on the floor. Sorry, Snowflake. Dad's dumb. What the fuck was that? But we're gonna sponge this on here. I have a bag right over there, I can see it from here, of little chunks of sponges, but I'm gonna keep using these because they're close to me and I'm that guy. And shout out again to Ant for getting that thing. Was dope, and it's gonna go great in my Jurassic stuff. That can fit right on the back of a truck. And it will look really good. Also, thanks to my patrons. Shout out to you guys. I have a quick patron-only vlog that's going to be up there soon, and then I have a full long-form video coming out for the past couple of weeks of the yard sailing / trips to Stormville, trying to get things on the cheap, and just all this God-blessed rain. Bar out of a shipping container. Oh yeah, I don't know if you remember, over in Gimmick I made a food truck, or over in the city I made a little food cart out of one of these by cutting the roof, and then I cut this out and I made a awning over it and put some shelves inside, and it's a little pop-up kitchen. Somebody's selling, like, you know, space tamales or something. So I'm just gonna tap this on here. But yeah, it was a little space food truck. I know, I think that Smuggler's Room also did something similar with a skiff, one of the smaller skiffs from the sand dunes, and made a little food truck that way. And we're just tapping that on there, and it's adding layers, and we'll do a couple layers. We'll also, on one of the passes, we might lighten it up with a little bit of white, or maybe darken it up with some gray. I don't know yet, but I like the way that this is going on here. And you remember, when you're doing this, if you don't want to repeat pattern, when you tap it, just rotate it, turn it, push your finger, you know, so that it picks up different directions, and you go over it a few times, and it creates it breaks up the pattern that would normally appear if you were just doing that over and over again in one spot. So see, you're not getting a lot of the same design. Almost looks like the moon. Famines, lunar landings, landing pads made for space. Come on down to the Rusty Jackalope Provision Company where we make landing pads and t-shirts. Good. Maybe that could be my specialty. You know, I know some guys make play sets and other dudes, they make like little diorama accessories and 3D prints and stuff like that. Maybe I could become the landing pad guy. Or did Zilla already get that market with his dice tray? I don't know. Bjorn makes Abomination. He actually did make Lomsky from The Incredible Hulk, so. And here's another thing you can do too, just to add character to it, is feather it in a couple of spots. I really like doing paint methods like this where you're using, like, sure, sponge painting is a normal thing. That's not anything unique, but it's not a super common method that you see in a lot of world building. People love to do, you know, your rattle cans or airbrushes or big stickers, vinyl cutouts and stuff, or brush painting, which, you know me, I like to brush paint, but I think this gives a cool visual effect. And it photographs well too. Like, I keep looking at it on the camera and I just think that looks really neat. And you can see here I'm kind of going around the rim and hitting that to give it that almost kind of like a glow around the edge. I think it looks cool. I don't know. You tell me. I just work here. Make a floating... Well, that's what I'm doing, motherfucker. It floats. You see? That bitch ain't touching the table. That's science. That's science. Smack the like button while you're here, Adrian. How you doing, man? Great Scott! Marty, we gotta go back to the future. Why, Doc? Your kids. I'm not going to finish that skit from Robot Chicken. Or was it, Can You Has This? Or the shipping container? Jess, I don't know. You cannot has the landing pad, because I need the landing pad for the Speederbike. Alright, so we've done that layer on there. Now I want to do... do one floating platform won't fall. That is true, it will not fall unless I knock it over, which there's a pretty good chance that I will at some point. Now I'm going to do an olive gray, and then I'll do another pass of this blue gray, and so now we'll have a 4-color gradient of the black, well, 3-color, the black, the blue, the rain. You can come get it. It's rained 13 weekends in a row. It's rained the past 4 days, and I hate it so much. And of course, we'll probably wind up with a drought summer, and people will be like, oh my God, I wish we had rain. And I'll be like, hey, remember that time when we couldn't fucking stand it? Anyway, so you've got the black, the blue-gray. I'm going to do a pass of olive gray and then go back over with the blue-gray, and hopefully it'll give it a nice visual effect. And then I will probably coat it with Mod Podge, and we'll stipple it on there, which should give it a little more texture. So I've got the olive gray right now, and I am doing it right on the same spot on the board, because if the colors mix, it's gonna be okay. Ain't nobody gonna know a thing about it. No one's gonna get their feelings hurt. You know, what are you gonna tell you? You gonna snitch on me? I'm watching you. Hell yeah. Also, Aunt, you should probably check on Meg, because we haven't heard from her in the chat in a few minutes, and she may be out there trying to find a grizzly bear to give a hug to. Does look like the moon. That's what I'm saying, man. Lunar landings. New from Famine Studios. Whoa. And yeah, the rain has been pretty constant. Like I said, it's humid, so I mean, that kind of works in my favor on this, because it gives me a little bit more playtime with these. Bless you. Bless you, Mau Mau. Goodness, you sneezed. When the moon hits your eye like a fucking pizza pie, call the police. They'll come and take a report and say, we'll sort it out, squirt. Sorry about your eyeballs. Hot cheese burns, sauce gets in your eye. It's acidic and makes you cry. That's a pizza assault. Right? Are those the words? Or is that Freebird? I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna clean my little fingy off. Are you mooning us? That's no moon. Also, if I mooned you, I'd be demonetized. I'd be taken off the internet. Someone would come and find my family. They'd tell them what I did. They'd drag me out in the street for embarrassing them. Wait, I don't... Hey! Hey, remember when I said I could fucking figure something out? Well, it turns out those come off of there. That'll make it easier to see. And I'll have something to hold on to while I spray. Look at the recycling. I'm fucking telling you, it's the way of the future, guys. It's one less thing that's going to be a landfill for a while. I don't have much for these, but... Forest moon. I didn't know I was mooning people. I just wanted to show the president where I got shot in the rear. But now I'm going to do my final pass of the blue-gray again, without the green this time, hopefully. we'll get the effect. I'll be happy with the effect. If not, I blame Bjorn, and we move on with the day. Right, Bjorn? Okay, here we go. I am not a crook. Tricky Dick. What an unfortunate nickname. I mean, he earned it, being a piece of shit that he was. But, like, what an unfortunate nickname of Tricky Dick. It does sound like an STD, but also, like, it just sounds like something bad. Like, the dude is, maybe he's got a long appendage, but it don't last for, like, more than 2 seconds, so he's got that tricky dick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Dick Trickle, yep. I went to school with a kid whose last name was Sack and his first name was Harold, so I'll let you hang on that one. And it's like, how when his parents were naming him, did they not know? And yes, he did go by Harry. So I think I'm going to do a little bit more of the blue. Just a little bit more. I had a principal named Butts when I lived in Pennsylvania. He tried to church it up and say it was Buttes, but it was Butts. Like Joe Dirt, Dear Tay. Don't try and class it up by saying Dear Tay. Your last name's Dirt. There still is somebody in my town whose last name is C-U-M. And it's pronounced exactly how you think it would be. And boy, what an unfortunate last name they have. Although, I would have some fun with that. And all right, 1994, top 40 hit. No, it had to be before that. It had to be like 92. And the song was, come baby, baby, come, gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. I fucking can't remember who sings that. Oh, man. But I would have fun with that if that were, you know, once I got over the initial teasing from children, because kids are the fucking worst, and I got older. Like, what's your last name? I'd be like, come baby, come baby, come, gotta give me loving. I'm sorry. They give me an internet connection and they expect me not to do this. You know? Why did Fam lose all of his subscribers? He started singing these fucking 90s hits, and just nobody can handle it, and they all left. Elementary school was bun right. Speaking of children being terrible. Dick Trickle. All right. Bun right. What a... That's a... I don't know what to tell you on that one, man. That's a tough... That's tough. Sing the theme to Sugarfoot next. I'm not going to do that. What the hell was I singing earlier today? It was a top 40 hit of the 80s. It was a pop song. I heard it last night. Oh, Karma Chameleon. That's what it was. And I was just walking around the house. Karma, 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 chameleon. You come and go. Oh, fuck. Like, Les Poissons. Drowning them fish. Much to everyone's dismay. The customers in the dining room are like, what's going on back there? Is someone being held hostage? Are they asking for help? Yeah, buddy, I'm going to save these things. Also, I could be, see, I'm the penguin. Put a long cigarello in there. It's not that. So got that. Now I want to do the edge in yellow, because that's traditional, like, fucking watch where you're flying. Don't hit this. This cobble potting more paint. Howdy, the platform's looking nice. Jab along, what's happening, my friend? Glad you could make it in. Glad you could pop in for the stream. And yes, we are making some headway on this landing platform. So let's do yellow. Now I get to shake the Shaditsky Culture Club, yeah. And also Jungle Boy. Not Jungle Boy, Tarzan Boy. That was the other song that I had heard that I hadn't heard in a hot minute, and I was like, let me sing this for 5 hours, because it's literally and then it's just you know, it's so easy, and it was a wrestler's theme song for like the first 3 years of AEW, so I got to hear it like 8 million times, plus when my mom would play that shit on repeatedly on the radio, so, or on the tape player, whatever it was, record player, I can't remember what she had. Jungle Boy or Karma Chameleon? Or Tarzan Boy. Jesus, Mary and Joseph Famine. You got one job. Get it right. Tarzan Johnny Weissmeyer's from the town next door. Like the actor? And is that a fun fact? Yes, the actor. Can I give him a little kiss? Eight-man came from Cold Town. Somebody said online his first wet dream was definitely not about a human woman. That's so fucked up. Oh, God. I'll never forget, I was working one day. A friend of mine, Butterbean, he's since passed away. We're working one day. He just walks up to me. He goes, and I'm like, what's up, dude? Everything okay? And he's like, you know, Tarzan definitely clapped cheeks before Jane got on that island. And then just walked away. I think I'm the most famous person from this town. And I'm going to stick with that. And there will be no further questions. Ooh, I should build a little engine block hoist for this thing. Ah, you dirty bitch. I'll fix it. I did that to myself. MTV's... it's Travis. What's up, homie? Travis is one of my oldest friends in the world. And, yeah. Travis and I go back collecting ways. Way back to the days of Jedi Defender. Co-worker's friends with OG Eddie Munster and hangs out with him once in a while. I actually, I came across that DVD the other day while I was sorting some stuff out in my cabinet, Travis, and I laughed. Because, like, I can't put it on YouTube because I'll be demonetized, like, instantaneously just because there's, like, 3 or... See it, Rebel Scum? Oh, yeah, Adam, did you receive a mysterious email from Rebel Scum after all these years inviting you to Rebel Scum Con? They're holding their own convention. Okay. I think that's yellow enough for my liking. I like that it's weathered, it's not too much, and I'm gonna fix that little that little bit I got on there. It was too much. It's too much. It's just too much. I'll never forget the school having me go to the office, and I'm like trying to explain to them that Rebel Scum is not rebelscum.com. And then I'm trying to look at Star Wars toys and not look at, apparently, Star Wars smut. And I had to explain like 50 times to like 3 or 4 different people. And they're like, well, you shouldn't be looking at these things on blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I'm like, I'm doing a documentary series for my video editing class. So they were like, oh, it's for school? And I was like, yes, it's for school. And then I proceeded to not do that documentary on that. And just use the website that I got unlocked anyway. Yeah, they were like, give us the list of filthy names and we'll just put it on the filter here on the computer that you can't use. And they were like, come, that's one. Not knowing that it's in like several words. Galactic Slime War definitely had that same conversation with your parents. That's how they get you. What did Bjorn do? Rebel Scum Con? Sounds... Rebel Scum Con. Rebel Scum Con. Alright. So I want to... I haven't been on Rebel Scum in like 15 years. I haven't been on Rebel Scum or... No, I think I stopped going to Rebel Scum when they sold all our information to Toys R Us. I think that was the last time I logged into Rebel Scum, was when they sold all our information to Toys R Us, and Philip Wise was like, it's for the good of the community. And we were like, no, Philip Wise, you're lining your fucking pockets with our money as collectors because you're greedy. And then I gave him a can of Spam when I went and saw him at Celebration 3. I'm going to blast this with a hairdryer, so I'm going to mute you guys for 2 seconds. She absolutely just chilled through that entire thing. Now I want to put some sort of landing strip on here, stripe. Or signifier of a direction. It doesn't matter what. No. No. I know what we're gonna do. Here's the story of a man named Famine who had foresight to buy glow-in-the-dark tape. And now he's using it on his diorama. Isn't he just fucking great? Alright, cool. So I'll just do 2 lanes, like 2 bars. Yeah. Alright, you son of a bitch. My fat fingers are not made for peeling tape. They're made for other stuff that's more fun. Sorry. Here in Hong Kong for a while. Oh, you're in Hong Kong. New litter cum recyclable collection bin. I gotta go throw this in the cum dumpster. I'll be right back. You imagine having to do you imagine having to explain that to a politician that's like some senior citizen that's never, they probably heard filth before, but it's like been so long that they don't remember that that is like a really filthy title. I want to do it this way. Yeah. With a slash sticker. God, that's funny. That's fucking funny, man. Now, Jabalong, I feel like I asked you, but I have the memory of somebody with a really bad memory. Are you in Hong Kong because you are from Hong Kong, or are you there for work or something like that? Who just gave me $5 and why? Sarah, can't wait to see the Spino. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm excited to fucking unbox the thing. It arrives tomorrow, according to the kind folks at FedEx who sent me a jump scare of an email going, "Your package," and I was like, "No," and then they were like, "Yeah, no, it's here," and I was like, "Oh, thank Christ." You're from Toronto, went backpacking Asia for a year, and never left. Nice. Will they let you leave, or did you see something you shouldn't have? Yeah, I went backpacking and saw a horrible crime take place on a trail, and now I can't go anywhere. Okay. And now, just gonna place this here. Use my little knife here to cut that. Boom. North Korea being held captive. Man, there's very, like, I know it sounds stupid and very Caucasian and very American. You've been living penniless on the streets ever since, dreaming of an air ticket home. It sounds so American, but I watched that series Locked Up Abroad, and it just completely turned me off to the idea of going to a lot of places because of, like, crimes that happen and things like that, and how they basically treat Americans and how they treat them as hostages. Obviously, if you're a hostage, you're not going to get treated well, but just it really turned me off from the idea of a lot of international travel to places that I otherwise would have liked to go. And like I did get robbed in Quebec, so I don't know. So there we have that. I like this. Why get locked up abroad when we've got an exactly? I mean, also you can get locked up here and get sent abroad now, so that's exciting times for us. So real quick, before we get to taking care of that, let's do a quick brush pass of country gray on the underside, just for funsies. And you're probably asking yourself, Famine, why is there a Palpatine statue glued to the top of your country gray? And that's because I was using it as a paint holder. Yeah, no, jail in Sweden and Germany and shit like that, those are incredible rehabilitation penitentiaries, and they actually rehabilitate people there. Whereas here, it's just punish, 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 and then they send you on your way, and I don't know. I could get real preachy about it. My father was locked up for 25 years. I blame him for a lot of his own shortcomings, but I do not blame him for struggling when he got out of prison, because they do nothing to reacclimate inmates to the real world when they send them out, and especially people that have been there for like 25 years. You can't just send somebody out into the world after 25 years of prison life and expect them to be able to function like a normal member of society. And it's absolutely cruel how the prison system treats inmates who are leaving, and they prevent, like, they make it difficult for you to get letters to send to places to get your way home. It's just a really messy process, and in other countries they treat prison as, yes, it is a punishment, but it's also a chance to rehabilitate you and make you a productive member of society, and hopefully help you with whatever issue you have, be it addiction, substance, mental health, all those things. But here in the States, it is just a way to punish and get free labor. And I'll get really, really heated. Like, you guys know me, I get heated over things. I get really passionate and stuff. That's one that I'm like super passionate about, is they do nothing for those folks. And despite my father's own shortcomings, they essentially set him up to fail, people coming out. And I've heard, not just from him, but like people that have had shorter stays and stuff, and people that were in for nonviolent crimes that weren't in for like drug use or whatever. They were there for, like, say, tax fraud, or, you know, they like stole a car or something when they were a teenager and they got locked up because they were dumb. Like, the guards fuck with you when they know that you're leaving because you can't do anything, or else you'll compromise your times to leave. They don't help you with stamps. That should be one thing. I know stamps are a currency in prison, but they could easily provide self-stamped envelopes for convicts to send out letters to family to make arrangements for them to be picked up or get their clothes and all those things. And it's just a nightmare. And you have to pay on your way out of prison, which is the most fucking diabolical thing I'd ever heard my entire life, that you have to give money on your way out the door. Like, yeah. But otherwise, great system, yeah. But other countries have a really great, I say a great prison system, but it's like you go there to be rehabilitated and taught things. They have like skills schools and stuff like that. You can there. What is it? Which country is it? There's a country, and I want to say it's like Denmark or something like that, where you have to learn a vocation while you're there, so that when you leave, there are programs that you can go into and work and actually earn a real living and contribute immediately. And so it's not like you get out there and you have the stigma like we do here in the United States, where if you have a felony or a conviction, a prior or something like that, businesses can just choose not to hire you because they don't want felons working there or whatever. Like, it's not a stigma as stigmatized as it is here, and like they teach you a vocation, they teach you a trade, or if you are somebody who comes from a trade, like they put you in a teaching position and have you help other inmates develop skills, and that helps you lose, you know, time off your sentence and all this other stuff. Like, it's a really brilliant program, and the rate of reoffenses versus here is so minimal, and that's because, again, here it's all about keeping the prisons full so that they can get more money and keep the guards in and keep the people that own the for-profit prisons that we have in the United States paid and happy, whereas over there, in a lot of other countries, it ain't so. But like Thailand, Singapore, Bangkok, I've heard terrible things about those prisons. Russia, never want to see the inside of a Russian prison. No, thank you. Not interested. Hooah! Have you ever seen the inside of a Turkish prison, Jimmy? Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Ooh, yeah. Oh, we got the podge out. Oh, we got the podge out. I don't know what that was. I don't know why I did that, where that came from. Industrial size podge tub. Dude, that was $15, and the last one I got was at the start of COVID, right before everything shut down, from the people at Plaid. They were kind enough to send it to me when I inquired about their influencer program. But yeah, I mean, this stuff lasts. You know that. You've used it before. You know what's up. Do not freeze. Do not swallow. Do not ingest. I mean, you could. I'll never say don't swallow, but you shouldn't swallow Mod Podge. And no, Meg, that's not an invitation for you to try it and prove me wrong. You'll get sick and die. I will not have that on my conscience. In fact, Aunt, if you have any Mod Podge in the house, just get rid of it. I'm going to go over this strip of tape and we'll see if that adheres, because it is a very glossy, shiny, smooth tape. So I don't know if it'll really take on there, but we'll do a pass on it and we'll just see. Because that's how we learn. I'll give you some Mod Podge. Why is it extra glossy? Also, if you ever want to have real fun, and I say fun in air quotes, read the instructions on your Mod Podge and see how long it's supposed to cure in between coats, and how many coats you're supposed to put on before it's considered on there. You want to be blown away. And you're supposed to sand it in between coats, according to them. And it's supposed to cure for something like 72 hours in between. The hard coat, the extra durable hard coat Mod Podge, which I returned to the store because when I got it, I was like, oh, this will be really great for like tabletops and world building, and like diorama bases and stuff, so it doesn't get all chipped up. Because as though Mod Podge has ever given me any chips or any reason to like think it wouldn't hold up to damage. That stuff needs a 30-day time to cure. So you basically put it on and then you're supposed to let it sit for 30 days before you can utilize the surface. And I'm like, absolutely no. Because like, what if you put it on there and you have to put a second coat on? Big Mod Podge trying to get you. Oh, you're a little fucking freak. You had the best. You had the best the best cornbread you've had in a while. What's up, Timbo? What was it like with dinner, or did somebody just roll up with cornbread and they were like, "Put this in your mouth," and you were like, "Okay." I was telling my friend Michelle, they had us over for dinner, and it was a really great dinner. And she made cornbread, and it was really good. And I was explaining my mother used to make cornbread for her boyfriend at the time. Every Friday, she would make chitlins, cornbread, and collard greens. And let me tell you, that's one of the worst smelling fucking combinations on planet Earth. And I will never be able to eat a chitlin in my life ever again. But she would also make cornbread, like a boxed, easy to follow recipe cornbread. And somehow, despite all the instructions being on the package and clearly labeled and clear instructions on how to do it, she would dry that shit out so bad. And I don't know how. Like, how do you ruin cornbread that has instructions on it? It's boxed cornbread. Like, how do you not make it moist? Moist. Like, how do you fuck up cornbread? I'll never understand it. From a package, nonetheless. Come on. Send Famine some chitlin jerky. I will fucking throw it outside on the lawn. Let the crows eat it. But yeah, every Friday we would walk. There was a whole routine. We would get together. We would walk to the grocery store. We would get the chitlins from the butcher because, of course, chitlins aren't a regular fucking at the grocery store thing. We would get the chitlins from the butcher at the grocery store. We would get a 3-liter bottle of orange soda, the collard greens in a can, the box of cornbread, and we would walk back, I don't know, about a mile, back to the apartment, and then my mom would start cooking for the day, and it would just be the nastiest stuff, and then I would never finish dinner on Fridays. I just simply couldn't eat that stuff. It just wasn't for me. And so I would like try and choke down the cornbread with whatever water I was drinking at my meal. Try and like soften the cornbread, but Jesus Christ, like I'll never forget that. How do you fuck up cornbread? All right. So that podge has been officially modged enough. Let me blast that with the heat gun. Neighbor used to grind up beef hearts to make jerky, and I know it sounds gross. No, heart is, it's dark meat, and it's good. Like, I like chicken hearts a lot. Let me mute this real quick, guys. I'm gonna blast this. right. It's mostly dry. That part still has a little bit of drying to do, but it's got a good texture on it for oil spills and stuff. And now we have a glow-in-the-dark landing track so the Speederbike can come in and, you know where to park it. So yeah, hell yeah. We have made a... That's gotta dry. That's still wet. But we've made a floating, or, you know, raised landing pad. You could keep that modular. Liver and onions. Ugh. Gross. That was Graham's favorite meal. I gotta tell you, I've tried liver 15 different ways. Not for me. More for you. You can have all the liver. When the Great War starts and we're eating what's up, Jared? When the Great War starts and we're all eating fucking liver and onions, because that's all there is, you can have my portion, buddy. Because absolutely not. Absolutely not. Ugh. And then a thought that I just had is I could have done this. Is I could have hot glued those two things together, spray painted that with primer, painted it black, and used that to raise this up. Would have looked a little more sci-fi, but again, that is so far underwear, that even if you take a photo like this, it looks like it's floating, right? You really got to get down there to see that. So, I like that. Beep. Beep, beep. Or you could land with the Acura slide. That'd be dope. So we got that done. Hell yeah, we got that done, taken care of. We're gonna set that aside to finish drying. And I'll probably do just a couple like little oil spills with Nuln oil and then dap them up so it just looks like there was work done in that area. And when we start adding more wires to that shipping container setup, we'll have maybe some coils of wire there, some things that it runs to, that runs that battery pack we did yesterday, so that's cool. I could also do a, in fact, I think I'll paint one of these right now. They're one of Jason Jensen's setups, but it looks like it's just one of the posts like in a hallway to indicate, you know, someone can go or not go. We could put that on there and paint one green and one red, or both of them red or whatever. I can paint a light on the top, and it'll be an indicator. So I'm going to sand this smooth real quick with a soft emery board because I don't want deep scratches on here. Kind of like it to look nice. But there's a couple of spots on here from where the sprues were sticking out that we can take down and just blend it flush. See what I'm talking about, the sprues. Let's see if it'll show up on camera there. Yeah, those little dots, that's where the supports were printed, and they just pop right off. They leave little marks, little bumpies. So I'm a big sand after print guy. And yeah, that's what I just did there. Clean that dust off. I believe this is the water-soluble resin that Jason uses. And to make painting this a smidge easier, where is there it is, ye old pin vise, ye old pin, well, drill bit, just gonna drill myself a little hole in here. Pop that on there, and now I'll paint on that stick. Guess that's. I was smelling it to see if there was water in there. I mean, I'm weird, but I'm not that fucking weird. I did go on a date once where my date sniffed every forkful of food before she ate it, so that was something. It's like the Robert from Everybody Loves Raymond, where he has to touch his food to his chin. I don't know if it was like that or whatever, but it was an experience to say the least. Doing good, Bjorn. It's because the Lecter. Hannibal Lecter, hashtag Hamminimal, Hannibal, breakfast over the sunny side of the world. Shit, dude, anywhere is sunny compared to here. It just rains. Famine, are you ever gonna let that go? Yeah, probably not. Family, are you going to continue to be a bitch about it? I am. Yes, I am. Ooh, I can put a greebly on the surface. Should I put a greebly on the surface? I'm going to put a greebly on the surface. I just like the way this thing looks. It's a little... This was one of the tie hold downs for that Rex that's back there from Rebirth. And I held on to it because I was like, oh, that'll make a great greebly. Look at that. Look at me knowing. Sunshine State. Flow Rida. Anybody new who's popping in, thank you for joining us. Hope you're into this sort of stuff, or you like listening to people ramble while they make artwork. This is a great place for it. But we do this every Tuesday at least during the week, and we are right now working on a landing pad for a Speederbike in my space station / giant city that I'm building, and starport, I should say. And talking about terrible food like liver, apparently. And if you like this sort of thing, if you want to keep up with projects or you want to help contribute to the channel, I know not everybody can, but you know, liking the video is more than enough. I appreciate that. If you want to subscribe on Patreon, you can. Famine Studios X. You can buy me a coffee. Super chats also work in here, and that's always appreciated but not expected. And you can, even if you just like the video and click the share button, that helps the channel a lot too. And subscribe. Those are the things I'm supposed to ask that the YouTube machine tells me I should do to help me gain more followers to see my work. And that's what it's for. It's vanity for me, right? Like, I just want everybody to see what I'm doing and just be like, wow, Famine, you're the best. You miss seeing Gimmick in the background of my stream? All right. There you go. You asked for it. And you get to see Snowflake. Snowflake, you're the star of the show now, baby. She's like, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. Anemic, told to eat liver. Oof. You could, I know it's sort of like an old wives' tale, but also, like, I know people that do it. Either the iron fish that goes into, like, your sauces and stuff, and cooking in cast iron, I've heard, helps with the iron thing if you can't do liver. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, if it sounds like an old wives' tale, it reads like an old wives' tale. Could be true. I mean, it can't hurt unless you're allergic to iron. Not liver. You sick son of a bitch. Use the glue stick to glue this greebly on. I don't fucking know. Yeah. Why is that on there? I don't know. It's just a greebly. Iron constipates. Just eat iron filings from the black. Just a handful. Oh, so good. This iron is the best. Comes from broccoli. Clear you out in excess. Broccoli can constipate you, man. Broccoli, much like Wu-Tang, is nothing to fuck with. I felt like a Jedi when I fucking did that in the drill bit. Look at, did you? I'm gonna do that again. Like Anakin just finished the fight and just. That's dope. Sorry, little shit. Little shit just amuses me. Little shit like that makes me laugh. So we're gonna paint you white. Also, Jesus Christ, we're all old. We're sitting here talking about iron and constipation and broccoli and Jurassic Park turning 32. Which I don't want to think about that. It's upsetting. In the middle of Jurassic June, you're gonna drop that on us, Adam. You're gonna do that. You're gonna make me feel that old. Ah. Son of a bitch. Nice. Star Wars is 50. Yeah, that makes sense. But just like Jurassic Park just holds up because like the science isn't, even then it wasn't like so extreme that it was unbelievable science fiction. It was believable, and we have all this genetic cloning and stuff that's going on today. The vehicles we grew up with, like there are still Explorers out there on the road. There are still Jeeps. Like it's held up so well over time, and being like maintaining realism and all that stuff, and then you go and say these things and it hurts. I do need to sit and rewatch the original, the first two. and doing tax attorney stuff, and painting dinosaurs in Star Wars, and drag. Boy, painting white on dark surfaces is a pain in the butt. But we do it. Ah, very nice. Ew, it made a noise. I'll tell you what, these brushes that I got from Amazon that I had opened up on quite a few streams ago, like the Nick Pro, I like them because you set them down, they don't roll away, but also that makes for a nice painting grip, and then it's got the nice smooth rest on the back end. Just a thought. If you're looking for new brushes. Or I can also pull out some of my beard hair and just you guys can use that as a brush. Well, that's just like your opinion, dude. See what I did there? You said the thing and then I said the thing. Spray painted some PVC pipes earlier. The sun is out and hot and all of a sudden thunder. I had to run in. Yeah. Well, you're in Florida, so isn't it like the months of April through essentially October? There's always at least a 3-hour spurt of thunderstorms and rain in Florida. I've heard especially around the Miami-Dade area that's very true, and Tampa. Just because of where they're situated. I don't know where specifically you're situated, but I've heard that from a lot of people in Florida, and I have some family down there, and they get big spurts every single day. Yep. Yeah, it's been raining here pretty goddamn regularly, and it's like it's getting bad because I'm like doing things like people do in music videos, where it's sad and rainy, where they'll drink a warm beverage in front of the window and like wrap themselves in a blanket and reminisce about sad times. Like I felt like Dido when I was drinking my coffee this morning. I was waiting for Eminem to call me up and ask if we could do a collaboration on a song. Like, it was bad. If you're too young to understand that reference, well, I fucking can't help you. Dido is the worst name. Kimbra. Kimbra is the worst name. I'm gonna try this real quick with a heat gun. Hurricane season. Ugh. She's hot enough to overcome it. Or do you mean Dido? Kimbra. I remember checking out some of her music after the Gaudier, Somebody That I Used to Know song came out. Didn't stand out to me, but that's just because my musical tastes are weird, probably. All right. So, just creating a yellow ring at the top, a little light. I'll put a dab of, probably like a dab of pure white in the center to make it look like it's glowing. Again, object source lighting is not something that I'm going to be showcasing on here. I've showed you guys, like I just did the buttons the last time, the two greens, so we'll do that again. And dry, so we'll do the dark green first on the button. Green buttons. Or not buttons, but lights. I don't know what these things are. Again, I just work here. Well, Famine, it's your studio. Shouldn't you know? Well, you know, shut up. That was a Poxa paint pen. I could do a little bit more detailing here. And then we'll just take this, and like I said, what I like to do is just a little off-center dot. And it helps create a glowing effect. And then a tiny little bit of white in the corner of that dot will make that look like it's glowing. And now, for some more production value on this bad boy, we're going to take a toothpick. We're going to take that toothpick, dip it in some silver. So we got it on there, on the toothpick. And I'm just going to hit around the post on the top edge. And that just adds like a little bit of like, oh, it's been scraped. People have bumped into it, used it to hold something, leaned on it, scraped against it. And then you could take that same toothpick and do the same around maybe the bottom, because maybe as you're dragging your wire across the thing, it scrapes against the bottom of it, or again, things bump into it, chip against it. And then you take that same toothpick, tap off the majority of the paint, and then just pick a couple of spots and make some little dings, some scratches, because you want it to look like maybe, you know, it's been banged into, scraped. Yeah, that looks like a little fried egg on the top. And then we will go ahead and pop this off of here and pick a spot for that right there. That's going to be the spot. And we'll tilt that towards there, and I'm going to put a drop of I'm going to put a drop of super glue on that to hold it. Or no, do I want to super glue it in place right now? I'm going to wait to super glue that on there. To heck with it. I'm not going to super glue it, but I will contact glue. Nope, that ain't going to work. We're going with hot glue. Give me 2 seconds. Is that a battery? No, it does look like one. Give me 2 seconds and I'll show you what it started as. Oh, where's the other one? There it is. Who asked that question? Good. The HVAC unit came from a 3D print from Rad. And no, it's a 3D. This is a 3D print from Jason Jensen that came with one of his sets. And I turned it into essentially just like some type of indicator with some green lights and a yellow light on top, so maybe it helps guide in. You know you can land because it's green, or you know that you're good to go because it's green. You can hop on your bike and take off. I don't know. It's sci-fi. It's but yeah, this is what it started as, and that's what it looks like now. And of course there will be like hoses and things like that. Up here maybe like a little diagnostic computer, but it's mainly going to be a parking space for a speeder bike, or even like I could do a small car, a hover car, some type of small walker mech, or something like that. So there's opportunity there. It's a landing pad. If I don't overthink it, it's very playable. Sorry to steal Dom's thing again. Uh-oh. Jerry's going to be using batteries on things now. That's got to get thrown away. This tape's got to get put away. The ever-present glow-in-the-dark. Tape, 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 tape. I guess I can bring that over here. Give me 2 seconds. I'll bring the shipping containers over. Just take that off there. Take this thing off of here, get that out of the way so it can dry out and then get cleaned off. So for anybody who hasn't caught the past couple of streams, that's what we're working with. That's what we're working on right now. And that started from those right there that Snowflake is graciously lording over and protecting, keeping them safe. Huh, Snowflake, you're doing a good job. But this was the question about the HVAC unit. Again, Rad 3D printed that for me and sent it over in a package. And then we added a wire, which is rubberized garden wire. And then this is gonna go, boom, right there. Or we could get dangerous, we could get precarious, put it like there, so it's a little further out. Trying to figure out the best way to show this off here. It's so meaty, big. So I don't know. I guess if I were to have this on my rooftop, I'd put that towards the outside. Look at the city. Dactarian credits. I will. I need to repopulate Gimmick. It's very empty right now, but so I've got that. The Speederbike can park there. A person can hop off and do whatever they want to do. Or it's nice to be like up on the roof and working on it where nobody can bother you. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do a little rooftop garden here, and that's gonna be what that is a little rooftop garden. And over here, I think I'm gonna do like a deck, not like a deck, but like a metal grate deck, and you know, put a chair out there or something. So there's an old lady that can be like, "Oh, there's a storm coming, Annie. You better get home quick." And I'd be like, "Okay, I'm Anakin Skywalker. Thanks for reminding everybody." Thank you. And again, this little like pseudo proton pack thing, we're going to put a wire in there and have the wire run up here and then sit in a coil connecting to something, so it's like, oh, that's running juice up to that, or it's feeding it doesn't matter. It's a Greebly that's on the side of the building. It's scabbed on there. It's technology. But yeah, and I got to come up with some sort of antenna rig. But I think that's going to wait until I get this situated in a permanent spot that I want it at, so that I can run each of the things down from one cable and do all kinds of crazy splits. But who knows? I'm wild with it. You guys know that. And inside you can see I put a door and a droid access panel right there, a droid socket, so the droid can key up, and the hose, the wire that's running from the air conditioner unit runs into the apartment. I could turn this into, that was another thought I had, is I could turn this indent here into a solar panel. I have more of that material, and I could just cut a piece that fits in perfectly. But I also like the idea of like a rooftop garden with, I don't know, I got things like this. And I made almost like a space, some type of space plant, and it's got the wires holding the plant so the plant grows upright. But I mean, that could also be like a balcony plant. I don't know. Ideas. But it comes together as we go along, and so I think I'm just gonna like keep working on this on some of the lives. I do want to do some Jurassic June stuff, do some dinosaurs, maybe do like a compy or two that live here, like kind of like rats. Yeah. So that's what we got going right now. Let's pan back. There we go. It really is just people parking their cars everywhere, just leaving things, just, you know, leaving goddamn space marijuana plants growing on their porch. It's outlaws. Absolute madness, chaos. I love it. But I do want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go wash this paint and crap off of me, probably take a quick shower and get ready for bed. I hope you guys enjoyed your day. I will see you more than likely on Friday. I'm going to probably do a quick unboxing of the Spino tomorrow. If it arrives before I have to leave, I have plans tomorrow. But otherwise, be well. Thank you for watching. Too Sweet Me. And hit the like button. Subscribe. And if you're not, hit up Patreon. Check that out. Be well. And thanks again, Sarah.